Good morning, everyone. I would like to welcome you to my show, Good Morning Black People with Morgan Rees. And I am your host, Morgan Rees. And I would like to welcome you good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time you're watching this. And thank you for joining my show. I would like to welcome my amazing, new, and fearless, dedicated guest, Executive and CEO, Deborah Woolard of Block Love Charlotte. Yes, Queen City, we have Charlotte's own Executive and CEO, Deborah Woolard from Block Love Charlotte. Block Love Charlotte has a vision to improve the quality of life for those individuals that suffer from homelessness, domestic violence, and single fathers, one block at a time in their community. They will partnership with other businesses and agencies for resources and make a difference in communities global. So after this, we'll be welcoming my new guest, Deborah Woolard, the CEO and executive of Block Love Charlotte. After this. Good morning, Deborah.
Good morning.
How you doing this morning?
Wonderful. It's
On
Thursday.
this important, thoughtful Thursday, I would like to say welcome to my show. I really appreciate you taking out your time out of your busy schedule. I know you live in the Queen City like I live in the Queen City, so you keep it busy.
Indeed.
So I would like to thank you for taking out the time to join my show. Again, I would like to welcome you again, everyone. This is Deborah Phillips, Block Love Charlotte's executive and CEO, and she's joining my show on Good Morning Black People with Morgan Rees. So, guys, let me stop talking. Let me go ahead and talk to this young lady. So, Deborah, please tell everyone who you are, where you're from, and give us more information about your organization and the wonderful work that has been doing in Queen City.
Okay. My name is Deborah Woolard Phillips. I am the executive director of Block Love Charlotte. I'm originally from Raleigh, North Carolina, but I've been in Charlotte now going on 18, maybe 19 years. Block Love Charlotte is my baby organization. We do so much for our houseless community and our houseless neighbors in Charlotte and throughout Mecklenburg County, from providing daily meals to tents, tarps, and sleeping bags. But we do so much more than that. We assist a lot of those that we help with housing navigation, finding out what their barriers to housing are. We get them to gain our trust so they can in turn trust the resources that are already available. We also assist with finding jobs, doing housing applications, with life skills, just getting them prepared to continue to sustain the housing that they'll find once they become a part of what we're doing here every single day. And we're not trying to end homelessness, but we are trying to continue to help and aid individuals that want to do better and lead a better life.
Wow, that's amazing. I've been one of those recipients of that side of the tracks at one time in my life. A lot of people don't believe that. So I know exactly all about what you're speaking of. And I see you on the news a lot. I'm out in the community. I hear a lot about your program and your organization. And you're just basically being a blessing to others because you are blessed, because you have that heart of giving. You have that dedication of sticking to supporting other people who are in need. And not even just in Charlotte, you have other places like New York, Philly, Georgia, Florida, where it's happening all over. And I can imagine, when the pandemic happened and you're thinking, oh my goodness, we already got so many things going on. How much did that triple or double your workload and your capacity for others who experience something that no one's never experienced in this decade that I know that I've been alive, and I know you probably are younger than me, so in my mind. So how did that impact you guys living in Charlotte? We having to shut the city down, other states and cities having to shut the global world shut down. How did that impact your organization and you having to help assist more people than you already had in your workload?
So 2020, things, we just woke up and things immediately changed for everybody. We found ourselves in a shutdown. And for myself, I'm always thinking about those that I serve. So for me, it was just like, okay, we're in a pandemic. We had the stay in place order, but the need doesn't stop. Hunger does not stop. So March 8th, we all kind of woke up, and I told my team, y'all, we got to be out there. I understand and hear what the governor's saying and what the president's saying and what even our own mayor was saying. No, we got to be out there. We got to make sure that our neighbors are getting what they need. They were given a tent, tarp, and a sleeping bag and asked to camp around the resources. Like, Tent City didn't just pop up one day because the clients or the neighbors decided that's where they wanted to be. They were given those so-called resources to survive, but then the agencies weren't open. So you've got people that rely on meals at certain times of the day, whether it's a church soup kitchen, whether it's some of these outreaches that were providing these meals. And like I said, because we're in the pandemic does not mean that the need stops. Also, the individuals were not educated on what this pandemic was bringing. A lot of them simply thought that if someone breathed on them, they could fall out. And I think a lot of people kind of thought that, it was like no education given. So in the meantime, we're trying to figure out how to resource staff with volunteers, provide meals around the clock, and educate at the same time. We, on March 8th, decided we were going to be out there. We started serving then 3 meals a day. We did that for upwards of about 6 months. And we did it, thank goodness, through volunteers, through Kind Hearts, through restaurants, through other organizations that could not use the food that they had because they weren't going out, to ensure that our neighbors ate. We also were providing those that were showing up that came out of the camps that needed to be near meals and resources. We were providing them tents, tarps, sleeping bags, essentials like flashlights. Ladies needed feminine care products. We also had to take the lead on trying to find out how to get the porta-johns out there for our neighbors. I don't know if you all are familiar, there was just an issue with making sure that people had somewhere to go to the bathroom, because listen, the library was no longer open, and Starbucks, where people could go and use Wi-Fi and charge their phones and stuff and use the bathroom. Those locations that our neighbors were used to utilizing during the day, those locations were closed. And it was like, what do we do now? So we're asking people to send us portable chargers, solar chargers, because that was only where people could charge their phones. We were charging them in our cars. Everything that we were doing outdoors. We were doing in our vehicles. We were going through camps all throughout the city of Charlotte and Mecklenburg County. We were serving upwards to 250 to 280 people daily, 3 times a day. Like I said, we did that for about 6 months until more of the organizations and agencies that had been out previously, we started to see their consistency, and only then did we pull back. But we still now serve at least 1 meal every day and twice on Sunday.
Wow. I didn't even know about the porta-johns because I was so busy focusing on the tents. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm still new to the area, and I've been learning, different intricacies of the city and what places to go and what places not to go and what to learn. I watch the news a lot. I've always been a news watcher. Sometimes I don't watch the news because it shows so much bad news. But I'm glad you brought up the tent situation, because as a new resident here, I was thinking and assuming that this is normal. And of course, I come from up north, so we walk by homeless people all the time, laying on the sidewalks, laying on the streets of Philly, of New York. So when you brought up the tent city, can you elaborate a little bit more on how it just seemed like it overwhelmed and took the city? Because I would ride by the highways and byways, and I would see lines of tents, and on Independence Boulevard, there's tents, and I'm like, what is going on? So can you elaborate a little bit more for the viewers to help them understand, for people who live here and they couldn't understand, where did this come from? What's going on? And then eventually they end up having to be removed because it became a health hazard. So if you don't mind, could you elaborate a little bit on that?
So if you're in the midst of a lockdown or a stay-in-place order and you need resources and you don't have the means to get those resources, because you have to remember, even there was a short period of time where even the buses weren't available. How do you get to those resources? What does that look like for you? A pandemic at a lot of times causes what? Panic. Where do people go? These are individuals let me back up. These are individuals we've been serving for years. Block Love has been around for about 6 going on 7 years. But we became a nonprofit in 2020. So these are people we've been serving. We have been going into the camps that surrounded uptown Charlotte and other areas. So these are not people that were new, that just popped up, came to Charlotte. Some people were saying they were bussed here. Like, we heard all types of rumors and different information. That's not the case. These were people that mostly were already here. They became visible when they had to get near the resources. They knew that organizations like myself, Roof Above, we couldn't reach everybody, even though we tried. But if you needed a meal, hey, listen, when them hunger pains started speaking to you, you wanted to make sure that you were near somewhere to get a meal. You wanted to make sure that you were near where you could be educated. Where, like, we had groups that came out and provided us, including the health department, providing COVID vaccinations. You need to be near that, because if you're in camps and we're in the stay-in-place order, it's not like you can go somewhere else and say, hey, listen, I know I can at least fly my sign or ask for money and get this meal and go to Subway. No, Subway wasn't open. There was even a short period of time where the grocery stores weren't even open, or very few. So people had to be near the resources. So those that were in camps that we normally gone into the woods and different places to see and to feed, they were now visible. They were near the resources, of which they were directed to do so. So was a lot of misinformation. Another thing about the camps, when you looked at where people were setting up tents and they were near resources, and a lot of individuals were like, hey, listen, we're here and we're able to get what we need. Come closer to where we are so that you can get what you need. So our neighbors were inviting each other to come and be a part of that tent community. But where it got a little crazy is individuals that were wanting to do good, that were wanting to spread love like we do. They were providing a lot of needs for our neighbors, but they were doing it in a manner of not asking, not really connecting to some of the organizations that were boots on the ground to find out what was already being provided. And so it became an overflow that was uncontrollable. I'll give you a few examples. We went out one day, and I mean, my team was in tears because we saw a pallet of meat. Why would someone drop off a pallet of meat? Now, mind you, camps at times do have rodents. And if there are rodents and we do provide the things that are necessary to kind of stall those rodents from growing or multiplying, but it got to a point where the donations were just coming in, pallets of milk, pallets of bread, stuff that can't be stored. What do you think the rats were eating off of? I do know that the city of Charlotte and solid waste were doing a wonderful job of ensuring that, stuff was cleaned up, picked up. I think even another organization had popped up and was created so they can help clean up around Tent City, but it became overwhelming. Like, donations were flowing in. People would come in the middle of the night and drop off donations, bright and early in the morning, like now, to drop off donations. And, it created a problem that was just too far gone. And a lot of people got the wrong visual. They were thinking, oh, okay, these people are just nasty. They want to live like this. Let me explain to you something. I tell people I like to use the phrase houseless. I was schooled on this. We talk about homeless, but our neighbors say, no, I'm not homeless, because my tent is my home. A lot of our neighbors were clean. You can go in their tent, honey, it was laid. Listen, just like your house is laid, their house was laid. Like they got it sectioned off. Like it smelled good in there. They got brooms, mops. We provided a lot of cleaning items. We provided a lot of sanitary items so that they could clean and keep everything sanitized. Listen, wipes, whatever. That you go in there, it was nice. It was laid. You know, they had that lighting that could be operated by battery. And that system worked for them. I had one young lady, listen, she was like, ma'am, you got to take off your shoes before you enter my tent, honey. I said, me and her still laugh about that to this day. So I want people to get that misconception out of their heads and thoughts that our houseless neighbors are just nasty individuals that, you know, wanted to be down there with the rats. No, that was not the case, you know. And no, I'm not green and thinking that, oh, everybody was clean. No, there were some that weren't. But at the end of the day, they're still humans. I'm not in your house asking you how you living and what's up with you and your roaches, and you still getting up, putting your weave on, your eyelashes going out, and we don't know what's falling up out of your hair. So it's not for me to ask. You know, all I'm going to do is help. Because you got some people out here faking the front, 6-figure incomes and house nasty. They hoarders. They horrible. So at the end of the day, we were there in their domain, their domicile, and here we are trying to tell them how to live. Who gives us the right to preach to them when somebody probably need to be preaching to us? I'm sorry.
Like I always say, you know, when you point that finger at one person, the other 3 fingers coming back at you, boo. Don't throw those rocks in the glass houses, I promise you, because something's going to crack.
That's right.
Wow. I appreciate you elaborating on that. I have been thinking about that, wondering about that, because, you know, I work for the hospital system myself, so I know all about as far as people were doing a lot of donations and as well. And it's great. I wanted you to put that information out so it can take away the rumor mill or the misperceptions. And, you know, a lot of human beings judge a lot. And they always say the only one person can judge is God above. He's the only one that can judge. He's our judge, jury, and persecutor. And I promise you, he the worst judge and the judges on the court. I promise you he is. You know, he's going to get you back one way or the other. You're going to reap what you sow no matter what you say or do. So I'm so humbled that you was able to explain to that, because I couldn't understand, and I know others couldn't understand. And you know, once a lie start or once a rumor start, it's like a fire, and it just spreads. And you know, I'm hearing people talking about it, and I'm riding by and I'm seeing it, and I'm like, what's going on? And of course, the pointing fingers at the mayor, the pointing fingers at the commissioner, and the councilman. They're pointing fingers at everybody else. But my thing is, why are you pointing fingers? Figure out how it happened. And figure out how can we come to a resolution, because when you're talking and you're whispering and you're gossiping, that's not helping those people. That's not providing anything but making them look or probably feel worse than they already feel. A lot of them don't want to be homeless. You don't know. Some people have mental issues or why they're there. You never know what a situation is or why a person ends up where you are. And as I always say to people, just as quick as you got where you at, it can be taken away from you, and you can end up just like that. And for organizations like yours, it's a godsend. It's a blessing. I'm really big in volunteering myself. I have not been lately because I've been so busy with my own things that I have going on. But for people like you, Deborah, God has a big blessing for you. Whether you see it or whether you know it, God has a big, big blessing for you. And continue to do what you're doing. I promise you, it's never going to go away. It's never going to go away. As you say, houselessness. I'm going to use that now. Houselessness is never going to go away. No matter how you try to sweep it up under the rug or cover it up. And as you were saying, people were bringing things to them. So can you tell us how people can reach out to your organization, how they can put their boots on the ground? How can they get involved? Instead of them always talking about, well, they're doing this and they're doing that, and I would love to join it. I don't understand how to get in contact with them. Can you provide that information, how they can reach out to your organization, you directly if they need to? How can they sign up? How can they get those boots on the ground, providing meals? Because to feed someone, when you feed their body, you feed their soul. So can you tell everyone how they get in contact with you, how they can connect with your organization, how they can put feet and hands on other people and give that compassion back? Because as we always say, because we're a blessing, we must bless others.
That's right. That's right. The best way to find out what we do, who we are, is go to our website. We are a nonprofit, a 501c3. Our website is blockloveclt.org. There's a lot of information out there, including ways that you can sponsor a meal. Like I said, we are still serving a meal daily, and we're always looking for sponsorship. There's also our weekly schedule. So that we do ask people, if you're available, come and join us. Right now, the time is set up at 5. We serve at 5:30 just due to daylight savings time, but the address is located on our website. Also, follow us on social media. The way that we got a lot of assistance and help during the pandemic was social media. We tell people we're not trying to exploit those that we serve. What we're trying to do is evoke that spirit of giving in others and let them know how they can come out, how they can help. And we're hoping to inspire people to do something for somebody other than themselves. So we're on Facebook at Block Love Charlotte, and we're on Instagram at Block Love CLT. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us. Our email is team@blockloveclt.org.
Thank you very much. Well, I have a slogan that I'm rolling with this year. 2023 is all about me. And today, 2023 is all about you, Deborah, and your organization, Block Love Charlotte. We need more people like you. We need more people like your organization to give back at the end of the day. And if you don't have money, God says you can give back your time, your treasure, or your talent. You're giving your time and your talent because your treasure is from heaven. So you're going to get that regardless of at the end of the day. And it's amazing you decide to take out your time of your busy schedule to join me and enlighten those who don't know, because people, there was highlighting this on the news about the tent city and everything, and no one was highlighting the organizations that were there to help and to provide that resource, as you said, because they all needed a resource, and your organization was one of those organizations that did that. And that's a blessing in by itself. So I really appreciate you taking out the time to join me. And I want you to come back. You know that, right, girlfriend? So would you like to join me back if I invite you back?
Oh, most definitely.
Well, I appreciate that, because to me, this is a thankful, thoughtful Thursday. And your organization is thoughtful. And the people that you serve, I know they're very thankful. They may not tell you, but they show you when they come to your face. Sometimes they can't even say anything to you. But for me to know I've been in that situation before, they love you guys. They appreciate you guys. And they're very, very thankful. Do not stop what you're doing, no matter what. I promise you. If I don't see your organization or anything else, if I decide to move or go somewhere else or live in another country or travel somewhere else, I better see Block Love Charlotte blowing up in the Queen City. So guys, welcome my guest. Thank you for watching the show. My guest, my amazing guest, Deborah Woolard Phillips from Block Love Charlotte, Queen City's own, guys. Queen City's own. Yes, we call it Queen City for a reason, because we have a queen. And she's doing her job, and she's giving back her heart, her time, and her talent, and she's going to get her treasure. Join me again on my next show. I really appreciate you joining me, Deborah. I look forward to working with you again. Guys, thank you for watching my show, whether you are, it's morning, afternoon, or evening. This is Good Morning Black People with Morgan Rees. And guess who I am? Your host, Morgan Rees. Thank you very much. I appreciate all you guys' time for joining me. Don't forget your coffee. Listen to this tea and learn more about giving back. This is about giving back. No one can say, I can't do anything. There's no such thing as I can't, because we all can. You don't always have to have money. And Block Love Charlotte is showing you don't always have to have money, because she's provided support. So give her resources, share, and give back to help her with her organization to help others. Thank you again. And welcome again, Deborah. I really appreciate you. Have a good rest of your day, guys. Enjoy your day, Deborah, because 2023 is all about who? Hey, and Block Love Charlotte. Enjoy the rest of your day. Please stay safe and stay tuned to our next show. And thank you again for joining Good Morning Black People, Morgan Rees. I am your host, Morgan Rees. Bye.
It's Good Morning Black People with your host, Morgan Rees, author, podcasting, online personality. Good Morning Black People, discussing social views, today's news, and interviews. Subscribe today at YouTube at...
I'm Morgan Rees, inviting you to tune in weekly for some empowering, enlightening, and embracing conversations to kickstart your day on Good Morning Black People.